Hey, what's up, guys? Waiting for a friend to come online. Thought I'd quickly take the time to answer a question or two. So, Yada asked a really good question recently. He said, I just started learning SEO. What would you have learned if you started now in the field of SEO? Should I learn Google Ads, Facebook ads, or do you suggest any new marketing skill for your business model? A little bit of a loaded question. Um, Facebook ads, Google ads. All right, so let me start like broad, then I guess I'll go into specific and I'll go a bit more specific into SEO because that's what I know, right? So first of all, let me get out the it depends out of the way. So it depends what industry you're serving, right? Who your ideal clientele is. So for example, if you're doing if you're serving and targeting clients for let's say local businesses or like gyms, I can see why learning Facebook ads could be better than Google, right? Um, really growing your skill at running ads, knowing how to convert them, um, depending on the offers they're providing their customers, you're practicing your copywriting and playing with the offers that convert on Facebook and giving that kind of like actual marketing, right, would be more at play as opposed to just SEO. SEO sometimes is not really like marketing. It's kind of like a skill you tweak and learn and test and study and be in groups and stuff and test more until you have a formula that works well, and then you build systems for it and you convert, and you can get away, doing a lot of scale up an agency and not know much about marketing really. Why people buy all that stuff. Sure, you'll suffer a little bit to maybe possibly charge a lot for your clients, unless you're going for big ticket industry and really good at ranking sites that are in competitive industries. It generally makes sense to get a bit better at marketing as well. And also for your own agency to grow, it's probably a little bit better to understand marketing as well if you want to scale it up, etc., etc. But I'm kind of going out of the topic, but you know what I mean, right? So if I'm going for gymnasiums, Facebook ads could make more sense. If you're going for like a local plumber, obviously Google would make more sense. So that's it depends, first of all. Now, moving away from that, let's say you're serving like local home services, right? What I would do is if I had to go back, now first thing is I would have kind of done what I did. I just wouldn't have wasted so much time trying to do other shit, right? I'm already kind of focused. I would have focused in way earlier and I would have stayed focused all the way through. Just think about this, guys. You have seen me gone in out of focus, right? Like it's been like a roller coaster, right? I focus into sales, then I step out and do some stuff. And every time I get a couple clients, right? Like every time I got 10K more, every single time I took at least a couple months to try to do other sales techniques, right? Try this, try direct mail and all this weird shit on sale. Like it was just a waste of time. Honestly, like once you find one method that works, let's say one way to attract clients and get sales, I really believe you should just stick to that until a decent volume, whether that be 50K for you, even 100K. I came to realize that any one of these models, any one way of getting sales can get you to like 100K. Cold calling, 100K. Email, 100K. Facebook ads, any one can get you to 100K plus, or even more probably, right? I'm just saying 100K because that's what I can see. Where was I going with this? So, yeah, I mean, learn to stay focused, right? That should be the skill. That should be another skill, right? But anyways, so let's say if I was to go back, right? What I would do, honestly, is I did delve in pay per call, and I would have gone into it a bit more. Meaning like this. I went into pay per call and it taught me a lot. It forced me to be able to actually deliver results. right? Even though it didn't work out for me that well, like I got a couple clients, they weren't really paying me. I got some bullshit people. That time I was cold calling and really trying out anybody who would just say kind of yes, and then I was charging them after they got the calls. So some people were fucking me over, and that kind of got me really discouraged and move out of it. If I stayed in that model, right, and I grew what that time it wasn't the paper call was broken. It was actually a few things, but it was really like a sales problem there, right? Because I was getting easy sales, but paper calls shouldn't be sold like that. You don't just take anybody who'd be receiving some calls, even though that was a good way for me to get my foot in the door and show them, like, hey, I only, deliver results. The real way paper calls should be sold is a lot like an SEO sale, where you show them the entire value of everything you bring, which lets you justify $150, $200 per phone call as opposed to 50, 60 bucks, right? And what I would have done is grow my skill at pay-per call and being able to deliver results and be profitable with just a pay-per-call business model first. So that's a mouthful. Let me explain it, right? Why this is important and why I think this would be valuable. Ads are a lot more scalable, right? And you can deliver results fast and right from the beginning. One second, somebody was knocking on the door. Where was I? Ads are instant, they're fast, it's a lot more scalable than SEO. The processes are a lot more simple, and etc. Once you find converting ones for one industry, you can duplicate a lot easier, etc. Things like that. But more importantly is I would have learned pay-per-call really well, all the landing pages, what converts, everything like that, and basically gone to a point where I'm profitable in that business model. A lot of times people, come up with these ideas like, oh, if I'm good at, running some ads and breaking, maybe making a little bit money or just breaking even, then I will do SEO. And within 6 months, the whole, they're paying me like, let's say $2,000 or $3,000 for, the entire thing. My SEO will take over and boom, I'll get all profit. That sounds really good in a fairy tale. It doesn't work like that, right? How it would work is like this. You grow yourself to be a better salesman, right? So instead of you trying to be like $50, $60 for roofing calls or whatever, your industry is, you'd be at a point where you're selling it at $150, $200. That's because they actually value your service for overall, and they're paying for upfront for a bulk of calls, right? 10 call package, 20 call package, like a real lead generation company. And you'd be providing that service for some time. And then the next sub-niche, sub-little skill I would recommend learning if you're going this road is really getting down in the nitty-gritty of tracking, of the reality of the numbers, right? Just like stop hiding behind all this shit. Okay, he's kind of providing value. They think I'm, kind of doing good. No, like really don't be afraid to keep going until it's like water clear that you are one of the best things that are for their business, right? Meaning you're actually delivering a service that provides a return on investment that's clearly a lot more than whatever they're paying you. So what I would recommend with that is there's a couple levels, right? So you're running ads, and then let's say you can track which ones are converting into phone calls, right? That's already like 80%, 90% of people who are running ads don't do that. That's why they do management. Like a fee for management. Yeah, this is my management fee. This is what we and this is what we charge. 20% of the ad spend, right? I don't know. It's just not my thing, right? Not hating on it. I just never thought of even going into that model. The one step would be running the ads, and then you're tracking the phone calls. Now you're in reality zone, right? Okay, you are listening to calls. You're understanding which keywords are converting, which types of ads are turning into more phone calls. Great. Most people stop there. Well, go one step further. Well, which ones out of the calls are actually turning into the most revenue? For example, in roofing, you'd realize that if I had to run a campaign and try to get the most calls, well, usually the keywords that would turn into the most calls are like repair terms, right? I can run like pay per call ads with it, or only, only on cell phones. The conversions are higher, cost is lower, etc. But they're going to be repair. Generally speaking, when somebody doesn't need to go to a landing page and they're just like, looking for something quick and click it, they're probably looking for a repair. If somebody's ready to make that investment of a full roof replacement, of spending $10, $12, $15, $20,000, they want to see a website. They want to see what the company's about. They want to see all their accolades, what they have done, other testimonials, all that shit, right? So if you track their bottom line revenue, you would have to have access to their CRM. Now you can see clear to the entire thing, right? Like which keywords and ads are converting, not just for more phone calls. You'd stop like caring about that, and you might actually start not doing as well on this part, meaning like less phone calls now, but you might be making their revenue way more, because now the calls what you're tracking is literally what's converting over the long term in making them $10, $12, $15,000 per job, as opposed to just running around for repair things. The value they would get would be immense, right? And nobody tracks this, right? Nobody really goes into one industry and does it that specific. Most people are in the middle here, if that, right? 80%, 90% are people like who are just doing, management fee, and then like some people are doing it for here, but you don't see people doing it all the way here. So this is a competitive advantage, right? You choose one industry and you do that for that, and you find those bottom line numbers, what converts. You're in a golden stage, right? And then obviously you can tack on retargeting on Facebook, whatever you want to do later. But honestly, I would stick to one thing at a time. I can't stress this enough. Don't get into too much like, AdWords, and then I'm gonna get into Facebook ads and everything like at the same time. You're gonna be shitty at all of them, right? This is not like some easy shit, right? Like, understand it. Like, whatever people say, they make everything sound so simple, right? It's not that easy. You want to be superior, you got to put in that much depth. You're one industry, one platform, get in there, track all the numbers, and try to convert every single step of the funnel, and then beat yourself multiple times until you're like, okay, fucking, like I'm splitting ass hairs right now. Every time I do like new copywriting, it only like converts maybe 0.5% better. So I'm pretty much good right now. You want to get to that those kind of point. So that was a mouthful. What time is it? Okay, 12 minutes. I think my friend's gonna come online soon. Let's see. So where was I? So we're talking about a position where you're profitable right from an agency that delivers a lot of value by running ads, and you're selling at a premium because you grow your sales skills to a point where you can sell your calls because you understand the value of it, and you're tracking the actual bottom numbers. So there's no question. Whenever they want to question anything or your retention or whatever, you can show them clear numbers. Just understand there's going to be some upfront work and a lot of testing on this part, right? So in that beginning part, things will be a little roller coaster, such as reporting. You might have to talk to people on the phone a lot while you're learning and fixing stuff. But the point is, once you get it to dialed in, you'll be able to use your predictability, and the process you have, the results you're providing will be superior enough to make everything else smoother, such as reporting and a bunch of other headache shit, right? And I don't know how to get into it more, but you'll see what I mean when when you're thinking it through. So let's fast forward. Okay, so let's say you do this and you're doing good, okay, and you're killing it. That's great. Now when it's time to introduce another service, since you did this part well, it's gonna be fucking awesome, because now when you put in SEO, even simple SEO, since the conversion is already happening and you're positioning itself right from the beginning as a holistic marketing, meaning you're running ads, you have access to the website, the GMB and everything, and holistically you can show them what's going on. You're not telling that, like, you're not promising anything with SEO, but holistically you're present in everything, right? Now when you start to add SEO and you learn SEO and you start to advance in that, you can take your time, and let's say the first year, let's say your clients are just in this model and your profit margins may be like, I don't know, let's say 20-30%, right? And you're profitable, right? You're able to have let's say a manager who can manage the ads for you and stuff like that, go in there and find the negative keywords and all that shit, whatever, and like put it into add the list, etc. Whatever you need to do, manage that shit. let's say it takes a whole year for that and you're doing well. You have a bunch of clients. Now you start adding SEO and you start learning this skill, and you still are not stressed on that, right? Your main focus is good, but you're putting in a second skill. Now you start growing their business organically, getting them, some better map visibility, etc. And then you're going to be at a position where you literally will be, for certain clients, you would be able to make over $10,000. I have clients right now who get more than 100 calls, like point blank over 100 calls from SEO, and they pay me less than $2,000 a month. If they were in pay-per-call model, they would be paying me over $10,000 and be happy paying it. They were already paying more than that to bullshit lead services like Home Advisor, right? Not 10,000, but in ratio the same amount before. And that's it. Imagine having just a handful of clients who's at that caliber, right? Not everybody's going to be at 10K. Most people, I would say, would be still at 2, 3K. But in this model, it's easier to get people to, I think, around like 3 to 5K, as opposed to just like right off the bat trying to get in SEO. I would say so, right? I would say most of your clients would be around 3 to 5K. I'm just speaking from my experience in roofing, but a couple of them will be at 10K. Those handful, 3 or 4 clients, would be for you like a 40K agency, because of 4 clients getting enormous results, who started off in a solid pay-per-call model, and then you kind of transitioned with organic SEO into it, right? But bear in mind, once again, I'm repeating this 2 times. Do one thing at a time and really master one at a time. Do not do 2 things at the same time. SEO in of itself is, Jesus Christ, is hard to deliver. Like, people always talk about this and that, and people are going to leave and stuff, but I don't see people really talking about even being able to convey the difficulty on what it takes to be able to put in a solid team that can flawlessly take people, onboard them, and take them through the process of what needs to happen all the way to get results with organic SEO without headaches, flawlessly, without dropping the ball at scale. It's not easy, right? So anyways, that's that. And yeah, I think, that would be a cool way to do it, right? Starting with pay-per-call, going into something like organic SEO, and then later on doing 80-20 in retargeting and stuff like that, and maybe testing within your industry for Facebook retargeting, YouTube retargeting. Once they have traffic, 80-20 meaning like certain things you don't have to get too much into it. Like retargeting, if you have traffic, just testing with it a bit. Like if SEO takes a year to learn properly and pay-per-call a year to learn properly, I'm sure you can get a pretty good dialed in process for retargeting within like a quarter, or like 2-3 months for like YouTube or Facebook, and maybe you run that simultaneously after they have a certain amount of traffic, and that's just to really bring in conversions a lot higher later on. And those things will come to you. If you can master that kind of business model with pay-per-call and then SEO, then I don't have to say the last part because you're already a boss. So that's pretty much it, man. If I had to go back, maybe I would do something like that, but it's kind of what I did. If you look at it, I just didn't like stay focused enough in that way. And if there's anything other than this that I would learn, it would really be more towards the business side of things, right? Like really try to learn how to build processes, right? Like build the skill. Try to find out how you work well to build processes. Like, because you're gonna need it so much. I kept on thinking so many times that if I build, this is the last wave of process, then everything's done. No, this shit doesn't end. I constantly retweak systems and processes over and over again, right? Now, part of it is really up to you in terms of what your goal is of like what kind of agency you want to be. Are you trying to be one of the best providing services? To be very honest, for me right now, if I really wanted and just kind of like keep things the way it is and just went into sales, I'll be fine. I'll probably honestly be able to reach 100K a month without much problems, meaning like the quality of the systems. Obviously, I'd have to hire more people and stuff like that, and there will be like more chance of breakage, etc. But I would much rather take some time and try to really hone down and refine certain things so that the results can actually be unlike most other things that they would come across. But that's not in this question, is it? The last thing I would say is, like I was saying, spend any other of your time to get into learning and growing the business side of things, right? What kind of skill sets do you have to grow to build processes properly and thinking through, and that stuff that just doesn't break or leaves a lot of like, holes and shit. So you have to keep on coming back and tweaking every time there's a minor update, organization of those kind of things. And also learning the industry more, right? And this is something that I did like way too late. And I used to talk about it anyways. I used to give this advice and not do it myself that well. Like, I used to say like, hey, talk to your clientele, ask them these questions. What are the pain points or whatever and stuff like that. But then even I did it so like superficially, like talk to some stuff. And I, like as I was pitching people, I picked up here and there, but it took so long. If I had to go back and do it again in my part-time or whatever you want to call it, like in my, like other energy that I have left in the weekends or whatever you want to say, I would say start learning the courses. Take some courses within your industry. So for me in roofing, there's some celebrities in roofing that are teaching people how to grow a roofing business. Like roofers who have scaled up to like 8-9 figures, and they're like celebrities in the space, and they have courses, sales courses, how to grow their business, all that stuff. I would take that course. I was thinking about this. I'm like, I should take this course. Right? This guy's like showing all this stuff, and he gives the bullet points of what they show, all this stuff, bottlenecks and stuff like that. Imagine that shit. You take a course, one of the best courses that your industry would take to learn their business. How much would you learn about your industry? It would be just like, imagine that competitive advantage against other people who are doing agencies for everything, and one of them just happened to be your industry. It would be no match. You'd have such an intricate understanding of what they go through in their world, and then being able to track and care about their bottom line in that way, like that's the definition of an advantage, right? That's the definition of growing a business which is geared towards providing real value. So, all right, man. I hope that helped. I know that was a lot because you said you're a beginner just getting into it, right? So apologies about, getting so much ranty, but yeah, that's kind of like what I think I would do. Peace.